Fact. So don't be fooled by this notion that the government has raked in this record amount of revenue. Now, understand, if they actually lowered the tax burden on people and lowered the tax burden on business and really jump-started this economy and put at least half of those 94 million people back to work, they would have seen, at this particular point in time, a record level of revenue unheard of. You put half the people, just half, not all of you, put half, you really, truly lower the unemployment rate to 5.4% like they're saying it is now, because it really isn't. But you truly lower the unemployment rate to 5.4%, and you will see the deficit, even though that they're spending outrageous amounts of money in the current budget, you would see the deficit almost disappear, literally. Not the debt, but the annual deficit. Because there would be so much tax revenue flow, and I don't know if that's a good thing, given the government wouldn't curtail it and only spend what they get in. They'd increase. But the current deficit would basically disappear. And economists are saying this all over the place. But you're not hearing them being reported by the lamestream media. But it's kind of interesting that we're hearing about the death. The retail industry in this country is on life support, basically. Even Walmart is taking hits. And Target, I mean, there is talk of Walmart actually closing some U.S. stores. And look, you can't blame this all on the internet, although people are realizing that, if they live in certain states, they can avoid paying, in some states still, onerous sales taxes. And that's one of the things that people are some of the candidates are hammering Chris Christie on, that New Jersey has gone into the pool with some states that have sales tax and is forcing companies like Amazon to collect state sales tax for them. And Chris Christie, New Jersey, is one of them. Just being honest about it. Whether or not you like Christie or not is irrelevant. His record is fact. Fact about his record. The government always seems to need more money, and the only way they can get it is to take it from you and me. So what they're in effect saying is that, well, we can't do with less, but you can. And we're going to force you to do with less. And then they're going to run around and talk about how bad the economy is when they take all the money out of the private sector in the first place. How does that work? How is it that you have liberals running around like Bernie Sanders talking about the wealthy have all the money when all the government is doing is taking the money out of the pockets of everybody, which is really going to hurt those who make less money more than it's going to hurt the wealthy? But this whole notion that, they've made more money than that's nothing new. It was this so-called income equality was the whole basis for the Woodrow Wilson administration for instituting an income tax in the first place, because the good old industrialists of the late 1800s, they were said to, they were monopolistic, and they were so rich and wealthy, it was redonkulous back then, that there was no possible way that these people should have that much money, and that the government should tax them in order to redistribute some of that. And so we keep hearing this decade after decade, and yet the rich are still rich. It's not going to change. The only way it's going to change is if you become a full communist country, communist nation, communist government, and start dictating how much people earn, which they're trying to do. They're trying to say that CEOs should only be able to earn so much. Well, they kind of did that. Carter kind of did that in the 70s. Remember that, when he put wage freeze on? And then the companies decided, well, you know what? We're going to work around that. So maybe we can't pay people more money, but we can actually pad their income by giving them all of a sudden something new, benefits, all kinds of benefits. Hey, we want you to work for us, but we can't raise your salary, but we can give you we can give you life insurance, we can give you health insurance. That's how the whole health insurance of your employer got started, by the way. It's due to Jimmy Carter. We can give you health insurance. We can give you this kind of benefit and that kind of benefit because we're not paying you the salary, but we'll pay for all of those costs and we'll give that to you instead. And that really kind of raised your income. And now the government wants to say, well, gee, some of these benefits should be taxable. And some of them are starting to do that in some states. So you're wondering where are they getting the extra income? Well, because they're taxing more. And when you tax more, especially an economy that is not growing with so many people out of work, that means those who are working aren't getting to keep more of their own money. Thus, they can't go out and spend it. They can't invest it and they can't spend it. So if you're wondering why retail sales are down, and they're down greater than what online, because they don't include online sales. This is retail. Online sales have not made up the difference of what retail, brick and mortar retail, has lost. So the net loss to all retail sales in this country is severe. We're down because people don't have the money to spend because it's all going to Washington, D.C. and various state capitals. So don't look at it as it being, oh, well, this is great. We got more revenue, because they're not cutting the federal budget to make, in order to catch up with the deficit and the debt. No, they're spending even more. Still increasing the debt. The whole notion about Obama, I cut the deficit in half. Well, you cut it in half because you doubled it before. Basically speaking, it's kind of like, the old retail mattress trick. Hey, you get 50% off mattresses here. Well, you walk in and you see the price tag, the regular price tag of a mattress, and they say it's $1,200. And they say, well, it's 50% off, so it's $600. Well, the problem is that the regular suggested retail price of that mattress is $650. So you're not really saving anything. And it's legal for them to raise the price and then cut it. Because if somebody walks in when it's not a sale, that one day it's not a sale, and buys that mattress at $1,200, that's the regular retail price in that store. They get away with it by playing with the law and skirting it. And Frank, manufacturers don't like it, but there's not much they can do about it, mainly due to Walmart, saying that manufacturers really, when they deal with Walmart and other large retailers now, don't have a choice of what the suggested retail price is. They'll decide what that is. And that's really evident when you get into jewelry. Jewelry stores are well known for falsifying retail prices in order to come up with sales. Yeah, but they can get away with it because they do certain things at certain times of the month or the year that allow them legally to get away with what they're doing. So there really isn't and this is what Obama did, basically, with the deficit talk. He nearly doubled the deficit in 1 year, and then the deficit finally comes down, and he says, well, hey, I cut it in half. Well, that's not really true. I guess technically it is half of what it was at its height in your administration, but you caused it to go up in the first place. Kind of like the mattress company saying, yeah, you're getting a $1,200 mattress for $600, but really the suggested retail price from the manufacturer is less than $700. So is it a 50% savings? No, it's not. Speaking of savings, you're probably wanting to say no to health insurance, but you don't want to be penalized for saying no because it's mandated under the current Affordable Care Act, Obamacare Act, Romney Care Act, Hillary Care Act. That's what it all is. And the government wants you to think that you don't have a choice and that you're going to have to pay out or pay up one way or the other. You're going to have to pay out of your pocket. And basically what StopObamacareTaxNow.com is saying is that you've got some choices still. You can say hell no, and you can still get away with it, but you got to go to www.stopobamacaretaxnow.com to get the information to find out more and realize that you can still legally say no to some of the government's grab on your pocketbook. You can actually, literally, in a way, stop the government from raping your wallet as if you had a 45. Those of you in Rush Limbaugh's Rio Linda, that is the caliber of a popular firearm, handgun. I don't. Just go to www.obamacaretaxnow.com and get the information you need. The information's out there. It's up to you to go there, get the information, and then apply the information to your particular personal and family situation. You want to stop Obama, then, by the way, the person who invented the internet, Al Gore. Al Gore, he's back, kind of, sort of. San Francisco Chronicle is reporting Al Gore says that the internet is restoring balance to democracy. He says the internet is helping to restore balance to democracy. I can't fully argue with him on that aspect because people are becoming more cognizant of what's going on because of the internet, which means it's a lot more difficult for politicians to get away with lies. Something that they would have been able to get away with before because the mainstream media would not have called them out on the mat on some of these particular lies, important positions that are lied about. People are actually able to get the information. So he's right that it is bringing about knowledge and information to the general public that they did not have available to them before. So I guess in a way that is helping to balance out our democracy, which is part of the reason why, the establishment in both parties are having a very difficult time dictating who the candidates are, who their preferred candidates are. The last time the RNC and the GOP establishment got to pick our candidate was Romney. And they had a hard time doing that back then. But now they're finding it nearly impossible. And they keep switching, the RNC actually warned Jeb Bush to stop attacking Rubio. I'm guessing that they're throwing in the hat on Bush. They're throwing in the towel on Bush. And they're saying, hey, Rubio's going to be our inside guy. And because, I don't know, maybe because, the RNC is kind of handpicking Rubio to replace Bush, that's probably very bad for Rubio. Because people are looking at Rubio now as being an insider. And you got some political ads now, at least they're airing here in New Hampshire, that is positioning Rubio as an insider now. Now, Rubio was once a Tea Party candidate, and now he's an inside the Beltway politician. That's the way he's been positioned. It's amazing to see this. So there are a lot. Rubio support is kind of, we see that, Rubio support is growing, but in reality is, from what I'm seeing, his support is actually eroding from the general public because of this new positioning of him and the RNC actually favoring him now. Well, we're almost at the end of our program for today and for the week. I want to thank everybody for joining and listening to the program. Do me a favor. If you enjoy the program, if you enjoy any of my social media accounts, spread the word. Share it with your friends and family and your coworkers. Share it. Share any of it freely. Have yourselves a great weekend, by the way. Now, I'm going to have myself a good weekend. I think I'm going to have some overpriced wine this evening. We're going to go to this art place, do paintings while having wine. I'll be calling myself an Uber driver, I'm sure, to take me home this evening. But until then, have a wonderful weekend. We'll be back here on Monday, bright and early, same bat time, same bat channel. Until then, I'm Rod Eccles. This has been the Rod Eccles Show. I'm about to go enjoy my freedom. You do the same thing. I'm out.